Dora. I'm a holistic stress and resilience coach from Dora Chen Yoga, and I educate and empower women and mothers to break free from break free from fear, insecurity, and limiting beliefs, and see themselves as the beautiful, authentic goddesses that they truly are. Welcome to my Tuesday weekly connect, where we talk about various things. We talk about various topics on how to achieve whole person wellness in body, mind, and soul. So, today I want to talk about how we deal with fear. So, fear is an emotion that most of us run away from. And rightly so. I mean, it was imperative to our survival that when we sense fear, that usually means that we're under threat or something is unsafe, right? Um, and when we're feeling fear, then back in the, I guess, caveman days, usually tells us that, it's best we get the hell out of this as quick as possible. There might be a predator. Something tells us that we're in danger. So fear is great. It tells us something about our environment and what we need to do next. However, our source of fear nowadays look very different, from years back, right? We're no longer so much stressed about having animals that might come out and attack us, but we are stressed about other things, such as living up to expectations. We have created in our minds, through our conditioning, our experiences, and so forth, what our reality should look like. And in doing so, we let fear run the show. We allow our fears to drive our thoughts, our actions, our behaviors, and we live in fear that our life will turn out any way other than the way that we desire it to be. For instance, I won't be happy until I get my dream job, or until I find my soulmate, or until I have a family, and so forth and so forth. And all of the striving to achieve something stem from a fear of lack. But if you have lived long enough, you may come to see that fear actually feeds into more fear. You never really actually arrive to a place of safety or contentment if your driving force is fear. For instance, even if you manage to attain what you wanted, you might be happy for a little while, but then there's the fear of losing what you've gained. So the fear comes back, right? And it may even drive you to look for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing to obtain or accomplish or attain. So, how can we break free from this cycle? Well, I'm sure many of you may have heard of the saying, face your fears. This is actually quite true. We can't work on something if we don't even know what we're working with. However, we instinctively run away from fear, right? So, what can we do to face our fears? First of all, we need to start slowly, gradually getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. Let's face it, fear is pretty darn uncomfortable. And most of us, when we feel discomfort, we move away from it. It's instinctive, right? We don't want to be somewhere where we're not happy, where it makes us feel discomfort, where we're uncomfortable. And so we do various things in order to move away from the discomfort. So unconsciously, we start to either ignore it, we might deny it, we want it to go away, right? And we develop various coping mechanisms to deal with this discomfort or fear, whatever it is. And we do things like we distract ourselves, right? And we distract ourselves with other things so that we don't have to pay attention to whatever that we are fearing or whatever that's making us uncomfortable. And so we may have found various ways to suppress our feelings. We may try to fix, right? We go into the doing. How can I fix this? How can I fix, whether it be a person or a situation? How can I fix this so that we no longer have to deal with this discomfort, right? So all of the doing, when we're faced with something uncomfortable, we want to get rid of it. We find all sorts of ways and coping mechanisms for us not to feel it. That's how we've been conditioned. But until we learn how to be with discomfort, we will not be able to go further into exploration. We won't be able to get into self inquiry to really get to the root of our problems. So, how can we start getting more comfortable or start to build our resilience such that we can be with discomfort? One of the things that I like to do with all my clients and my students is to teach them something called the inner resource. And the inner resource is a place within each and every one of us where we feel a sense of peace, a sense of security, a sense of safety. Now, everyone's going to feel the inner resource in different ways. They have different, and everyone's inner resource is going to look differently from someone else. And perhaps it's hard for some people to think that I don't have to think that they even have a place of safety within if they've never felt safe in their lives. But there is a place that we can cultivate and eventually gain access to. And so, as you are starting out, what I would suggest is that, it doesn't have to take very long, but if you have a few minutes, 5 to 10 minutes where you won't be disturbed, give yourself a moment to just get settled in, find a comfortable position, and then bring an image to mind that perhaps reminds you of a place of safety, or it brings you a feeling of safety or a feeling of peace, a feeling of maybe groundedness and security. So this image it could be a person, it could be an animal or a pet. Maybe it's something to do with nature. Maybe it's a memory. Maybe you remember a time when you felt completely safe and secure. Maybe there's an object. Maybe it's something that's tactile. Maybe something that you hold or touch can bring you that feeling of peace and calm. So whatever it is, bring an image or whatever you need, an object to mind or to hold that gives you that sense of safety. And if you can't find anything that brings you that sense of safety, perhaps can you find an image or an object or something that perhaps bring you a feeling of, this is okay. I'm okay where I am. This is okay. So wherever you're at, start at your own pace, wherever you need to be, whether it's a sense of okayness or whether you can get to a sense of safety and security. Start wherever you are. And then once you're there, excuse me, once you're there, feel into your body. How do I feel? What are the sensations that are coming up as I sense into a feeling of safety and security? And so that could be your practice. And the magic is really lies in consistency and repetition. So the more that you can visit this inner resource, the more you're going to strengthen it, the more you're going to stabilize it, such that every time you can maybe bring on that image or that object to mind, that your body knows how to come into a place of, relaxation, safety, and peace. Just maybe even a sense of well-being, just that, okay, I'm good here. And once you're there, bring this inner resource into your day often, little but often. These practices can be as short as 30 seconds to a minute, but just do it often so that you're really practicing sort of living your life and also integrating this inner resource into your life whenever you need. So you're practicing coming into your inner resource and out of your inner resource and back in again. So the more you're able to practice this, then when you eventually encounter a challenge or a difficult situation, it's going to be much easier for you to then tap into your inner resource and come to a place of safety and security. So this alone can be very helpful and can help you to become more resilient to stress, can help you better cope with stress. So that in itself is beautiful. Now, once you have this inner resource practice, the next thing that I'd love for you to try is to learn to be with discomfort. So now, what I would suggest is come to a place, come into your inner resource, find that place of safety, that place of groundedness. Now that you're here, without letting the inner resource go, that inner resource can stay with you and maybe become the background or whatever it is that to give you that, continue that sense of safety and security that you feel. But at the same time, now introduce perhaps a memory or a situation that where you felt just slightly uncomfortable. So we don't want to jump into the deep end, but starting slow, what is something that made you feel slightly uncomfortable? And then as you bring this image to mind, notice how you're feeling, what's coming up for your body. Are you able to allow that sense of inner resource to somewhat be there and hold space to keep you safe as you explore being with this discomfort? And there might be other emotions, thoughts, and other things that come to mind. But with that, and they can come. We're not trying to block anything out, but instead of being sucked into storytelling or rationalizing or finding ways to fix or change or to adjust anything, so let go of needing things to change or fix or anything. Can you just be and stay with this discomfort as sensations, just everything just as they are? And then you can let it go and notice what was easy for you or what was challenging for you with this practice. And it might be helpful to journal any observations or experiences that you have regarding this practice. And then so as you continue to practice your inner resource, you're going to start to bring more calm throughout the day, and that in itself might help you to receive challenges in a different way. And then when you do receive a challenge, notice if you can be with discomfort. Just training yourself to be okay to just sit with. You're not trying to fix, you're not trying to change, you're not trying to get rid of the feeling. Can you just be with it for a little while, for as long as you can? But maybe at the beginning you might only be able to stay with it for maybe 30 seconds, a minute, maybe that's even too long, but that's okay. See if you can slowly extend the practice and notice what happens as you focus on the body sensations of discomfort. And sometimes, and as you continue with this practice, what you might find is that as you are more able to sit with discomfort, that a lot of this discomfort dissolve on their own. So all our thoughts, our feelings, emotions, they're not permanent. They are always changing. So even as discomfort comes, as you stay with it, you're going to find that a lot of the times they actually dissolve on their own. So things, this practice will get easier for you as you continue with it. And as you are more able to be with your own discomfort, you will be able to see with more clarity the messages that are behind your fears and insecurities. So like I said, the first step is to actually be with the discomfort. And once you are more and more comfortable to be with the uncomfortable, then you can do a little bit more exploring and inquiry around that. If you continue to build up your capacity to be with, any level of discomfort, so as you continue to build, what I mean is that you will become more able or have the capacity to potentially be with any level of discomfort. And in doing so, you become fearless right? You will no longer be afraid to sit with, to feel, and to look into fear. And you'll be able to see things, people, situations just as they are without fear clouding your judgment. And you'll be more able to act from a place of authenticity and no longer let fear run the show. Fear will still show up. Don't get me wrong, it's not that you won't experience fear anymore, but you're not afraid to feel into the fear. Okay, so you're not giving power to the fear, right? So the fear will come, but instead you're going to allow it to come as a messenger and say, okay, this is telling me something is not right. What can I uh, what can I explore or inquire into so that I can understand where this fear is coming from? So that, so you're going to approach this in a different way and you'll no longer be afraid to feel into fear and discomfort. And you're going to be able to bring more awareness to your own reactions and gradually create more space for constructive responses. Now, what you'll find is as you continue with this practice, you will also be more able to sit with other people's discomfort and holding space and giving them permission for meeting themselves just as they are in that moment. So this can be a very beautiful and powerful practice, and little by little, step by step, you can go a long way. Now, if you would like a deeper discussion about this, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I would be so happy to jump on a call with you and see how I can help. And if you enjoyed this mini training, make sure you follow me at Dora Chan Yoga on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook. And I also have a private Facebook group called DCY Community, Supporting Strong Women Heal from Stress Holistically, where I stream these trainings live, but I also share many resources, tips and tools and meditations and so forth in that group. So I'll make sure that I'll include all the links either in the comments or in the description. Also I hold Sanghas every Sunday where we come together as a community to dive deeper into various topics. So these sessions are live and interaction on a Zoom call, and we have great discussions and conversations, and we end with a short meditation. So if you're interested in joining me for the Sunday Sanghas, I'll also make sure that I'll drop the link below, or just reach out to me and I can tell you more about them. So let me know what your biggest takeaway is. Drop your comments below, and I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Take care.